I read this poem on Monday morning while visiting Dove Cottage. I was feeling a little forlorn myself, though obviously with far less cause than Wordsworth. My daughter had merely left home. His was dead and buried. The line in the poem that utterly transfixed me was actually the first line, which seems shocking in the face of his loss. It begins, surprised by joy, and then continues, impatient as the wind. How could he write a line like that? Even as he revisits his most searing experience of loss and grief, Wordsworth found himself surprised by joy. Why? Here's my interpretation. When it came to his own experience, he was impatient as the wind. He didn't wallow in despair or self-pity. He kept pushing, probing, searching, measuring the grief he felt against the joy he knew life harbored somewhere, measuring the want so many people suffered in isolation against the good they could experience in common, measuring the injustice he saw against the equality civilization promised. Because he was impatient as the wind, he found himself sometimes surprised by joy. Make no mistake, the kind of impatience Wordsworth has in mind isn't the intolerance people demonstrate when the driver ahead isn't already moving as the light turns green, or the irritation they show when the entree course hasn't shown up yet and it's 45 minutes to curtain time. The original meaning of the word impatient refers to a patient in the medical sense, someone who is injured or suffers in another way. Impatience in this sense is ceaseless protest in the face of human suffering. One of Wordsworth's most impatient poems is titled "The Old Cumberland Beggar." It's about an aged vagabond who sits beside the road as everyone passes by. The beggar gathers what sustenance he can. People seem to accept the fate of the beggar as part of the nature of things. No one seems bothered by his suffering. Then Wordsworth grows impatient. He writes, "But deem not this man useless. Statesmen, ye who are so restless in your wisdom, ye who have a broom still ready in your hand to rid the world of nuisances, ye proud heart-swollen, while in your pride ye contemplate your talent's power or wisdom, deem him not a burden of the earth. 'Tis nature's law that none, the meanest of created things, or form created most vile and brute, the dullest or most noxious, should exist divorced from good, a spirit and pulse of good, a life and soul, to every mode of being inseparably linked." In the face of life's travesties, Wordsworth becomes impatient as the wind. Put down the broom you're using to try to rid your world of nuisances, he says. Treat this person with a spirit and pulse of good, as though he is inseparably linked to every mode of being, because he is. And if you respond in this way, you may be surprised by joy, not only his, but yours as well. The point is this: in the face of life's brokenness, we will be surprised by joy, not when we delude ourselves about the absence of human suffering, but when we become impatient at its presence. As Helen Keller says in today's common meditation for all souls, real happiness is not obtained through self-gratification, but through fidelity to a worthy purpose. Do you find today that the world is too much with you? Don't sweep away your fear or your grief or your loneliness. Don't sweep away your worries about our stalled economy or your anguish about our stunted democracy or your outrage about our besieged system of justice. Take full measure of your own experiences and use them to get in touch with the brokenness of the world around you. Let yourself be moved by what is broken. And then get impatient. Get in tune with others in this particular place. Find a way to repair our broken world. Then you too might just find yourself surprised by joy. Amen. I love you. May God bless us all.